Okay, everyone. I am back tonight. I was on here on Tuesday, and my computer just acting up. I don't know what was going on with that thing. My name is Annette L. Anderson, and this is TNT Tuesday Night Talk. I'm going to hit up a few people because normally I'm not on here on Thursdays, but because of what happened on Tuesday, I decided to come on and hopefully share with you guys. So when you come on, let me do this. If you would subscribe, like, and share, I would appreciate it. So I'm going to try to hit up a couple of people here. So give me a moment. Oh, there we go. All righty. No, I shared it to myself. That's real smart. Okay, so share it and messenger. All righty, here we go. All righty. All righty. So I'm almost finished here. Okay. All right, we'll get started here. Right, I had to. Hey, Sharon. I had to share. If you would share and hit up some people for me, I would appreciate it. So, so I'm just gonna give my little spiel. I'm definitely not gonna be on long tonight because, again, I usually do TNT Tuesday Night Talk. This is where we take flight and soar. We speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. But because my computer, I had issues, I had glitches, whatever the case may be, I decided to come on Thursday. And all right, and preferably I can get a couple of people to come on. And my apologies for last Tuesday, Tuesday gone at least. I don't know what happened, but it was not a beautiful sight. I tried everything I knew how to handle that, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna wait a couple of more minutes, and like I said, I hit up some people, and this is an off night for me. But I wait a couple of minutes. But anyway, while I'm waiting, I just want to talk a little bit. There we go. A little bit about the organization. I started. It's been over a year now. I've been doing this over a year, and I started with the movement, and I felt led to really kind of branch out and do a couple of things myself. So this is how SOAR was born. To speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. But under SOAR, I have several things that I do. Hey, girl, uh, gift girls inspired for total success. Inside every woman is a little girl. Inside every little girl, a woman will emerge. Also, like I say, hey, girl, that organization. What a part of the organization is a one-word affirmation uh, to affirm who you are. So many times we have to learn how to open our mouth and tell ourselves that we're wonderful. I know one of the singers, she has the song out, Good Morning Gorgeous. And sometimes we have to look in that mirror and we tell ourselves, Good morning, gorgeous, hello, gorgeous, whatever the case may be. And so my organization, it's like I said, one word affirmation. And I have exquisite design. I just started that business. It's my crafts and stuff, some of the stuff that you see behind me that I make. And so that exquisite design. So that is one of the things I do also. So I'm very blessed to been retired for it's been a year. And in my retirement, I hit the ground running. I was never bored. Now people say they bored in retirement. Oh no, it's the best thing could have happened to me because I'm more creative. I have time to think. I have time to search. I do a lot of stuff where I'm looking and searching for different items and trying to learn about our history and see what's going on in our community. Of course, everybody know that the Queen has died. She was for 70 years. That's just absolutely amazing that she was, I think she was 96, if I remember correctly, that she died. And so, hail to the Queen. She lived her life, and she's going on. But really, at the end of the day, none of us came here to stay. This is not our home. This is a temporary place that we're going to live in, and prayerfully, one day, we'll be able to cross over and see God. That's what I firmly believe. And so, a couple more minutes here, and gifts. Let me just give you a little bit background on gifts. Gifts is Girl Inspired for Total Success. I've had gifts over 20 years, but I haven't really operated in it, and I'm starting to do some things with gifts. And it, of course, it caters, say, girls, but also it's from girls from 5 to 105. Because we before we were older, we were of course girls, and we had to deal with our little girl issues. And even as adults, some of us still dealing with our little girl issues. And so one of the things that I try to do is just to reach out to women and try, even on here, same premise, to motivate, to push you into destiny. And I'm finding that the problem a lot of times is we don't believe in ourselves, and we have to learn how to open up our mouth and declare that we are somebody, declare that if you've been called to minister, if you've been called to start your business, your organization, and you have to know that oftentimes, I mean, if you may be fortunate enough to get somebody who believe in you, but sometimes you don't have that. And so you have to believe in yourself, because we have a lot of naysayers. They don't, you'll tell somebody your dream, and then, sometimes people cut it down. We have dream killers, but that's okay though. You have to believe in your dream. And if you can't believe in your dream, how do you expect others to? I'm learning that. I'm learning the importance of believing in who God has called me to be. And that is so important to me. I sometimes, I push myself even on tonight, because I really started not to come on tonight simply because I know it's not my regular night. And I didn't expect, I guess my expectation was low, but I know people get used to what you do, because like on Wednesday night, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing on Friday night, on Sunday, and the list go on and on. And so, but I decided that regardless of what, it was a glitch, I'm going to still push forward. And I'm learning that I have to persevere and go, even when I had to go by myself. And sometimes that could be a difficult thing, and it can be a hard journey, but I'm learning how to push forward. And hey, Miss Juanita, and sometimes our life is not always fair, and things happen, and it'll cause you sometimes to knock you to your knees. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. Some of us, including me, sometimes things have to happen to knock me to my knees. Because sometimes God be like, wait a minute, you must have forgot about me. And so I'm not saying God allowed that just for you to go to your knees. But what I'm saying, life will hit you so hard, you'll fall there. You may not be falling to pray, but baby, before you get up, you'll be calling on the name of Jesus. I've been there. And so I want to encourage people to let you know, regardless of what life throws at you, that you'll be able to persevere, you'll be able to get up, you'll be able to go forward, and you'll be able to push. Now, sometimes the push is difficult, and sometimes it seems like you can't make it. But I just believe that God allowed me to go through some of the traumatic things in my life so that I can be a living, breathing testimony of his goodness and of his graciousness, that regardless of what, I was able to persevere and get up off my bed of affliction, and so many other things that I've went through in my life, so many things that have been traumatized, and I didn't think I'll overcome it. But then looking back, see, one of my scriptures that I really, really, really love is that all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and who are the called. That's what scriptures say, according to his purpose. So whatever has gone, whether it's been gone on in your life, whether it's been good or bad, it had to work together for your good, for your purpose, for what you're going through. It had to work that way. And it don't always seem right. It don't always seem fair. Sometimes it appears that God just and kick you to the curb. But what I've learned, that I had to go through that. I preached a sermon years ago. It had to happen. And I came from the text that when King Uzziah died, then You could, the Bible said, then they could see God high and lifted up. In Isaiah, I think it's Isaiah 61. He said, after Isaiah died, then. So sometime after, I'm not saying people have to die for you to see what you've been called to do, but I'm talking about this particular text. But in this text, because the king was a good king, so it wasn't like it was this horrible person, but there had to be a transition. That had to out of the old into the new, and the king was doing what he was called to do. But once the king was gone, then Isaiah had to step up and do what he had been called to do. And the name of the sermon, it had to happen. Some things just have to had to happen. I don't always understand. I remember some years ago when I went through a traumatic experience, and I asked God, I say, well, I knew I wasn't gonna get the answer why it happened. I say, but God, when I get to heaven, I want to know why you did this, why you let me go through this, why I had to cry, why I went through depression, why I struggled financially. And I thought about it. I said, probably, Lord have mercy, just if I make it in, I'm not going to even care about none of that stuff. I don't care about none of that stuff. What happened, what could have happened or should have happened, just the fact that I made it in. And so, SOAR is all about opening up your mouth and saying something. Speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. And all the organizations that I have, they fall under SOAR. Each one of them is about affirmation. Each one of them is whether I'm working with women, whether I'm working with children, men, whatever the case may be, preachers, don't matter. Everything's about affirmation, to affirm. And I do believe that we have to open our mouth, because even when you start with the Bible, when the Bible starts, God began to make declarations in the beginning. It go on and on and on. John, in the beginning, God created earth. It go on and on and on. So he opened up his mouth, and once he opened up his mouth, and spiritually, and he made a declaration, then things started to fall in place. And I dare say, if we begin to open up our mouth, some things will begin to fall in place. May not always be what you want, but if you let God do it, it'll work out. There's some pain in there. There's some tears in there. There's some times you don't understand, but I promise you it's going to work out for your good. It always does. And so when I look back over the last 30 years of my life, because I went through traumatic experience for several years, I had the face on, I had to smile, but in my heart was just crushed and broken so many places. And I thought I would never overcome or persevere, but it had to happen to get me here. If it had not happened the way it happened in my life, I do not believe that I'll be on here, because I'm on here because I'm talking about what I've experienced. And this is why oftentimes I do a disclaimer that I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, but I'm a lifeologist. And what that means is I lived these last 63 years of my life. I walked through some stuff. I walked through some things probably other people didn't make it through. I walked through attempted suicide. I walked through depression, all this stuff. And I don't say it to glorify the enemy. I say it and I talk about it often because I want people to look at me and see the overcomer that I am. And so this is why it's so important that I come on here, even when I don't want to, I don't feel like, sometimes I'm like, dog, I'm tired. I want to go lay down. But it is what it is. I wanted to say amen just to make it in. It's a process. Show, girl, what you talking about? As my mom used to say, girl, what you talking about? But it's a process, and it's not an overnight journey. You go back through your and look at your life. You look at once you get to, let me say, once you get to a certain place and you go back and look over your life, you can see the pieces of the puzzle coming together. But when you're going through, it's like when I was growing up, when we were little mama, one of the things mom would get us for Christmas would be this puzzle. And she would get this puzzle of all these pieces. And you'd be looking at that puzzle like, Lord have mercy, I ain't gonna never put this thing together. And that's sort of kind of how my life was. I had this big puzzle with all these pieces, and I try as I might, I could not put them together. But then it came to a point in my life that I could gradually, pieces start falling in place. Now I still got some pieces to the puzzle. I have not arrived. I'm not there yet, but I promise you this: my puzzle is listen, it's better to put together than it was before. And then there were times I wasn't trying to put them together. I was just trying to go through the motion, just get me through this day. I was one of those people that I could not stand when night come, because in nighttime was a time that I had to focus on my life there was no hustle and bustle. And then I had to deal with me, because in the daytime I'm always doing something, I was going somewhere, I was working, dealing with my children. But when the quiet and the stillness of life comes, and night was horrible for me. But in that night season is where I got my deliverance. And that night season is when God came. In that night season, I was able to get from where I was to who I am. And so I just want to share that, because people need to often be reminded. So many times when we go through things, we think we're all alone and nobody else been through that. Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have. They may not say it. They may not even be able to articulate it, but they've been there, and they've been in that struggle, in that place, that lonely place. It's like being in a room. I could remember being in a room, and now let's I'm just being go there. I've been in church, and the church packed. Everybody around me clapping. I'm like, what is wrong with me? It wasn't the pastor. It wasn't the parishioners. No, it was that season that I was in. We like to blame. It's always somebody else's fault when we go through. No, mm-mm. No, it was where I was, and it was difficult. And I would come there, and but I still came. And let me say this, and I'm gonna go to what I'm gonna talk about. Still go, still get in his presence, still, whatever way you worship God, still do it, because it's not about a feeling. Because if it's about a feeling, then a lot of us are in trouble. It's not about a feeling, but it's about being in his presence. And the more you're in his presence, the more healing will come, the more deliverance will come. It's like Miss Warren said, it's a process. It don't happen overnight, but it does happen. I'm telling you what I know. And it was difficult, being at that altar, crying out to God, coming home, going through the motion over and over and over. But what I didn't understand, he was fortifying me and building me up for such a time as this. As in the book of Esther, Esther went through a bunch of stuff, but it was her time. It was her time to become queen, and she was not the likely one. Look, I'm learning something. So what if they don't call you to preach? So what if they don't call you to do that? But as long as God called me, I'm learning something. Because when I used to, well, I still preach, but I used to really have a hunger and a desire. Like, why ain't nobody calling me? I must be hard. But no, it's not that. Sometimes it's just not your season. It's not the time. It's just not. And I've learned that. And now I ain't want to go preach. So I hate to say that, but it's the truth. But if I, of course, if I get a invite, I try to go if it's in God's will. But anyway, I want to go pick up what I actually probably have to start all over, where we kind of left off on Tuesday when my computer kapunked out. I was talking about time, and I used the acronym TIME. It said things I must earn. And I was talking about, I wanted to say things I must learn. No, thing I must earn. And I gave you the definition of time, the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future. And it's regarded as a whole, as a process, as a point of time, a measure in hours and minutes, that kind of stuff. Hey, Miss Deborah, that kind of issue, the time, your schedule, how you arrange something. That is talking about time. Also, it's your program, your plan, your slate. We're talking about time. Time is this thing that God has given us. He's allotted us a certain amount of time. We don't know when or where, but it's allotted us a certain amount of time to get things done that I believe that he's called us to do. And so many times we do a whole lot of other stuff, but I believe time has been set aside for us to be able to walk into our destiny. And so many times, time get away from us. Time will not stop because you do. Time will not because you're crying and hurt. Time don't care about that. It'll keep moving. I remember when I went through a traumatic experience, and I just wanted time to stand still. Like, I'm looking like, y'all don't see me hurting, but that has nothing to do with God timing. God is going to keep right on going. I mean, I was talking about the Queen. She lived 96 years, but her time had ended. So time will end. But you know what? For those of us who are still here, to me, it's so important that we take the moments, the seconds, the hours of what God has given us, and learn how to utilize that to the best of our ability. This is something I do every day. Now, people know me, know I love to lay down. My daughter said I'm always laying down. But there is not a day go by unless something really, really happens that I don't work. I don't at least do one thing for my ministry or one thing for my business. Right now I'm learning, I'm painting. So I'm painting and I'm doing some other things. And if I'm not doing it, I'm doing research. I'm reading, and I'm trying to figure out how can I not let this whole day go by without doing something for my business and something for the kingdom. And the more word that I get on the inside of me, the more I'm better for the kingdom, because there will be times when people will come to you, especially those of us who know the Lord, and they just may need prayer and maybe a word. You got to have something in you to give out. It's just a fact. You really do. And so that's why it's so important for time. So I honestly, even sometimes, even at times when I'm really upset of things are not going the way I feel like they should, I worship every moment, because I've seen, even from my hometown, just where I grew up, and I grew up in a small town, and just like in the last 3 weeks, it's been a funeral every week. Last week it was, a week before last, it was my grandbaby. She was 4. She died. And then, two people that I knew all my life last week. Now, a lady that, oh my gosh, she was amazing when I was a little girl, and we grew up and we were not segregated at the time. And I used to love that school, and we would have good food and all that stuff. So they probably would have her funeral on next Saturday. And a lady I used to work with, her son. So, and I said all that to say this: time keep going on. Those people are no longer here, but those of us are here. Let us utilize every moment. And I talked about the definition of time that I found online, and I think it's so appropriate when we deal with time. Is time is slow when you wait. Time is fast when you are late. Time is deadly when you are sad. Oh, that's so true. Time is short when you are happy. Time is endless when you are in pain. Time is long when you're bored. Every time is determined by your feelings and your psychological conditions, not by clocks. I know we look at the clock ticking, but what it's saying is, though, but your time really is not based on the clock. Because who sits and look at the clock unless you're bored, unless you're depressed? Because I've done that, watch the clock when I'm depressed. But no, time is based on how you take your life and what you've been called to do and how you utilize it to the best of your ability. And so that's why I said, it's deadly when you're sad, because it is. And it's short when you're happy. And, and even when we do on Wednesday nights, I'm on, and that hour we try to do no more than an hour. Even when I'm on here, I try to do no more than an hour, and it goes so fast. And it goes fast because it's something that is edifying, and something that's uplifting, and something that's important to me. And so the time fly by, and that's how time is. So I'm just gonna just go through a couple of things, and I talk about how you need to earn time. Earning time means to take the time that you have and that God has given to you, and learn how to spend time with your family. The family, to me, is so important. And I'm not just talking about our bloodline. I'm talking about, because I have, like, me and Sharon, like sisters. So that time you cultivate, the time I spend with my children, the time I spend with my husband, all that, and my grandkids, that is so important. And I've earned that time. God has given me some time, and so I've learned how to utilize that time, and also to make memories, because when people are gone, there's no more memories to be made. How now, so many times, it's so funny when I think about my mom, and now I find myself repeating that stuff she said. My mom used to say this here: I'm so broke I can't buy a cripple crab crutch. I used to look at her like, what is she talking about? But then later on in life, when I got what I mean, when I used to have to roll pennies to get gas for my car. I understood that statement, even though it was funny at the time, but it made a lot of sense. So those unforgettable times that I had to learn how to earn that time, things I must earn that. And because it's so important that we understand the importance of that peace of mind. Listen, y'all, I earned peace of mind because let me tell you why I know I earned it, because I've had so many so many times when things were horrible. So I've earned it. So I've learned how not to allow situations to take me out of my game. Now there are times I have to really pray, but I have to have peace. I gotta have a peaceful life. I gotta have a peaceful marriage. I can't have turmoil. I can't be screaming in my life. I just can't. And I had to earn wisdom. I had to earn that because I was a fool. Listen, whatever was in me came out. If it was in it, what the Bible said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. That's true. If it came up, it was coming out. So I had to learn wisdom. I had to learn just because you know certain things, you don't need to tell it. That's wisdom. Just because you know about sister so and so, and it may even be true, but you have to learn wisdom not to put certain things out there, because even the truth, even if it's truth, it can be devastated depending on who you tell. I had to earn laughter because for so long I didn't know how to laugh because of the things I've been through. I had to earn that. And I earned that through my tears. I earned that through my frustration. I earned that through life, and I had to earn the satisfying of creation. So what I'm trying to say is this: I had to earn the fact that God had called me to be creative. And what I mean by that, like I said, I have stuff all behind me. I got a bunch of stuff that I've done. That's creativity. Now, I didn't know, honestly, I did not know I could do it. I didn't. But because I was so stagnated all my life, most of my life, because all I did was work and go to church and pay my bills and take care of my kids and start all over again. I didn't realize the creativity that God had given me. And so, but I earned all of this stuff. And when I looked at this time, I began to understand what that means. Things I must earn. These are things I must earn. I had to earn those. They just were not coming. Certain things just not going to fall in your lap. If you got a business, you got to work it. If you got children, you got to raise them. And I had to earn certain things. I had to earn joy because I I understand what happiness they say is what's happening. But what if what's happening is not bringing you happiness? And so I had to earn joy. I had to learn how to have joy even in sorrow. And that's one of the most difficult things. And what I mean by that, even in the loss of my mother, I had started to laugh and start chuckling about her because she actually was a comedian. She really was. And so I began to reminisce some of the things that she said, and then joy came. Now the tears still will fall even now, but the joy came because of I had to earn that. So just learn that you have to earn certain things. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be happy all the time, but that joy will give you what you need to persevere. Earning wisdom, I had to earn it because I was young, crazy, lived my life reckless, didn't know what to say, and cursed. Oh my God. Even now, when I hear women curse, I cringe because it takes me back 30 years that I use words now that I don't say them now, but that's who I was. I was not what, in all kind of situations, involved in stuff, on that phone, telling stuff. Keep your mouth shut. And even if you just gotta share, make sure you share with the right person, because a lot of us got friends, but our friends got friends. So we have to make sure. And so this is why it was so important for me on Tuesday to talk about time, because it's getting away. When I was younger, and I don't know why I felt this. When I was young, I didn't think for whatever reason that I would live past 35. And so when I got 36, I had a different outlook. I said, wow, I made it through 35. I don't know why I felt like that. And so I live my life like any minute now, it's over for me, which was absolutely ridiculous. But that's where I was in my life. And we've all been like, some of the stuff we thought did was absolutely ridiculous when you look back. But that's where I was at that moment in that time. And so when I made it to 36, and then I started to get a different outlook. But I understand that life it has a rhythm. There's a rhythm to life. There's a cadence. Cadence is a rhythm. And like I said, on Tuesday, some of us clap on 1 and 3, and some of us clap on 2 and 4. But the key is we're clapping. We're still able to make sure that we keep moving. Miss Juanita said, oh, thank you, Miss Juanita. She said, this is good. Glad you're coming down my street. Yeah, because that's so important. And what I found is one of the most difficult things for me when God called me to preach. And I remember when I went to talk to the pastor, and Pastor Trippett, and I remember sitting outside his office, and I was shaking like a leaf. And so I went into his office, and he said, I'll never forget the words he told me. He said, God don't show me everybody, but he showed me you. Now, I felt vindicated for a moment, but that didn't last for a second, because oh Lord, I got to stand in front of people, that just carry on. But what I've been called to preach and all that. But what I understand was he was getting me to a place that I would more or less, I hate to say it like this, but more or less forced to read the word, because a lot of us, I'm better now, but a lot of church folk, we read on Sunday. I hate to say it, y'all, but some of us, I ain't gonna say a lot, some of us. And so what it did, it okay, if I say I've been called to do this, how am I preach if I don't know what the Bible says? So, these are the things that I went through, and I struggled through, but at the end of the day, I understand the rhythm. Now, the rhythm is sometimes it's all over the place, y'all. But I understand the rhythm. I understand the importance. I understand the time, and I understand that I'm not going to always have the answer. I'm not going to always be who I think I should be. I may not always even say what I should say, but through my time and through earning certain things, I'm more appreciative now than I was before. Because only thing I would not do, I never would, if I see what adults, older people, I wouldn't use profanity in front of them, but kids now, they don't care. But I mean, I had that, but it didn't matter. I still did it. And so I had to learn I had to earn spending time with my family, because I didn't always do that. I had to earn those unforgettable memories, and they're valuable, like I can look back at that. I can, go back into those pages of my heart and in my mind and see the laughter and the jokes. I had to earn joy. I had to earn it, because for so long my heart was so broken. There's a scripture talks about the heart, how the heart becomes hardened. And some of us really need to have surgery. Some of us need an operation on our heart, because it's so broken, and we haven't been able to figure out how to mend that. And I had to learn how to mend that. I had to earn this. I had to earn the fact that that person who hurt me may never say I'm sorry. I had to deal with that, because I felt you shouldn't have done that to me. But I had to earn it, and I earned it through looking at myself and looking at how God forgave me. I didn't always do what I was supposed to either. It's very interesting. We can go on and on about what somebody did to us, but then we don't really want to take accountability for what we did to somebody else. And I don't care who you are, you've done something to somebody else. So I had to earn the wisdom and the peace of mind, and the fact that God made me a creative being, and we all are creative. I don't know what you've been called to do, but whatever it is, tap into it. Start small. I got all kinds of stuff. I started, like I told Sharon, some of the stuff I've done, I threw it in the trash like, ooh, what was I thinking? But then I've been thinking out of the box. I've been thinking stuff out of my own head and being creative and in my craft. Somebody else be like Sharon, she cooks. Somebody maybe do something. Maybe you creative and loving on people, because sometimes working with elderly people, hugging and loving on them, with children. We all have a creative side, but I had to earn that. I had to earn it. And laughter, y'all. Learn how to laugh. It ain't that serious. Even if it is serious, it ain't that serious. I had to learn how to laugh through pain. And I had to give the devil a black eye, because it makes no sense that a person tore up from the floor up can still be laughing. It makes no sense that when you lose a loved one, but you still got joy. It makes no sense, because that's because of God. That's the only way we can do it. That's it. So that's what I have to share tonight. Um, Time, things I must earn. I must earn it. And I guarantee you, for those who are listening, and even for those who will listen later, you've earned some stuff in your life. There's some things that you earn. You earn through your tears. You earn through the backbiting and the lying. You've earned some stuff through falling on your knees and crying out to God. You've earned some stuff by raising your children and feeding the homeless, and whether you're an usher in the church, where it don't matter whether you the pastor or you the usher or you the deacon. You earn some of the things that God have allowed you to walk through. You earn that, because that's why you have not lost your mind. That's why you went through like a good soldier. That's why, even though you cried, that you was able to brush yourself out, dry those tears, and get up, because you earned some things. You've earned it. All those times, days and weeks and months of my depression and in the dark room, no lie, go to work, come home, shut the door. I would come to church on Sunday, but I still go home, shut the door. It had got so bad, because I actually was going to get my mom to intervene with my children, because it got so bad. I would go buy a bunch of TV dinners, and I would go to work, make sure they go to school, do your homework, give them TV dinners, go in the room and shut the door. And so through everything that I've been through, I've earned the joy, the peace, the wisdom, the understanding. I've earned that. And I declare to you on this night, for those of you that's here and listening, you've earned some things yourself. I promise you. I promise you, Miss Juanita. I promise you, you earn that joy. You earn that joy, that wisdom. That didn't come overnight. Miss Sharon, that peace of mind, that laughter. Deborah, y'all earned some stuff. Ola, you earned it. And even though it may not seem like it sometimes, but if you just take a moment, every now and then, I don't like going backwards. And I don't even, I don't like the reverse. But every now and then I take a lap in my yesterday. And my yesterday reminds me of my today and the potential of my tomorrow. I just go back to remind myself, and even yesterday, all wasn't bad. All yesterday wasn't bad. And I do it, and I do it quite often. Because even when I find myself in what I call a funk, and even when I find myself reminiscing, and even when I find myself questioning God, I go back and I take a little trip, and I remember all those things that He brought me through, that I really should not be here today, that I should have been long gone in a grave, but God kept me. And so I remind myself. So when because every now and then I kind of feel sorry for myself, like, oh no baby, you get no, you ain't got time for that. And if you just gotta wallow for a little bit, okay, but get up, dust yourself off, and try it again, and just know that you earn whatever. You earn that joy, you earn that peace, you earn that wisdom and understanding and knowledge. You earned it. That's your time. Things I must earn. And you got to earn some joy and wisdom and peace, because satisfaction and creativity. Because if you don't earn it, if you have not gone through anything, you really haven't earned it. And most of us, I dare say, we've earned, probably pretty much everyone. You may have not earned some things, but you earned that. And I'll say this, and I'm gonna finish. Let me say, I retired after 37 years. I actually worked total of 40 years. I retired. I earned that. You hear me? I earned that. I went when I didn't want to go. I did. And they were talking about the student loan and how some people, me and Sharon was talking about it. Some people kicking against it. Oh, everybody want a handout. Oh, they want to go. No, 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 no. Hold up. I If they pay mine off, I earned it. I worked 40 years, and I promise you, they took enough taxes out of my check in 40 years to pay that little money off that I owe. And when people say, "Oh, they taking my taxes," baby, keep your taxes. They can just take my taxes and pay the little money I owe. That's how I feel. Why? Because I earned that. I'm not asking for a handout. I pay my student loan. I pay it, but I'll never pay it off unless I get a lump sum. But if this is a law that will be passed, then hey, I earned it. Okay. So that's it for me tonight. I thank y'all so much for coming back. Um, Obviously last week is something I hit. I hit a some button. I don't know, but that I was just so annoyed myself last week. But anyway, I worked through it. I came back tonight. So I like I said, I didn't plan on being here even this long. But anyway, so that's going to be it for me tonight. I'll be back next Tuesday. I thank you so much for sharing with me. Time, you earned it. You earned it. So learn how to walk in the things you've been called to do. I know you have your moments, but get up. I've had my moment, but get up. I just want to encourage somebody. I want you to know you can overcome. You don't have to sit there. You don't. Listen, I'm retired. Y'all want to holler at me and let's go, Olive Blue, Miss Juanita, Sharon, and y'all during the day, y'all want to holler, want to go to lunch. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I don't know who work or not. I don't know. But yeah, listen, let's go for a walk. We can't walk. Hey, it's hot. Can't walk outside. But we can go in the mall, go and have a lunch. Do something different. Enjoy life. The sun, even though I try to stay out, it's hot. But still, the fact that it's shining. Enjoy, life, the birds and the stuff you don't even pay attention to. I hear birds. I didn't hear birds for years. I know they were there, but subconsciously, I guess I had blocked all that out. But hey, listen, time, y'all, time. Listen, this what it. Okay, hit me. We can me and you, because I retired too. We can go to lunch or something. Let's do something and enjoy life because you earned it. You earned that peace. You earn, and I'll say when things happen and we have to cry, it's okay. It's all right because after that, those tears, joy comes. It rain here, but I guarantee you, if it don't continue to rain by this time tomorrow, that hot sun, you won't see you won't see no evidence of the wetness on the ground. And I say that to say this, because of life, and we will cry, but there'll come a day you won't even see any evidence of what you've been through. So I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for coming back. Like I said, I'll be back next Tuesday. My people, like my peoples, hopefully they'll be back next Tuesday with me. But I had to come on tonight. I'm glad I did. And I pray that something was said or done to lift up your spirit and to remind you who you are. Not only who you are, but whose you are. So my name is Annette Anderson, and this is TNT. Well, Thursday night talk. This is where we take flight and soar. We speak, orate, articulate, and reverberate. And we just talk about it. And the scripture that I like to use is, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Amen. Be blessed and have a blessed rest of your week. Good night, everyone.